What you're looking at right now is not a special effect. This is real. This is Antarctica, a place so extreme, so raw, so completely indifferent to human existence that standing in it feels less like being on Earth and more like being on a completely different planet. And the numbers alone will mess with your head. This continent is larger than Europe. It holds 90% of all the ice on Earth, and in winter, when the ocean around it freezes, it grows until it's the size of the United States and Mexico combined. One continent bigger than two of the largest countries on the planet, and fewer people live here permanently than fit inside a small hotel. Right now, as you're watching this, there are around 300,000 icebergs floating through the Southern Ocean, each one drifting silently, some larger than entire cities, moving through waters that almost no one will ever sail. But here's what makes Antarctica truly different from anywhere else on Earth. It's not just what you can see, it's what's hidden underneath. Lakes the size of countries buried under kilometers of ice, volcanoes still burning beneath the frozen surface, and life, ancient, bizarre, impossible life, surviving in total darkness for millions of years. Over the next 20 minutes, we're going all the way in, through storms that could strip the skin off your face, past a waterfall that bleeds straight out of a glacier, into a world that most humans will only ever see right here. So if you haven't already, hit subscribe and stay with us, because this journey is only just beginning. You think you know cold. The kind that hits you the moment you step outside on a winter morning. The kind that makes you pull your coat tighter and walk a little faster. That's not cold. Not even close. The lowest temperature ever recorded on the surface of this planet happened right here. -89 degrees Celsius. At that temperature, the air itself freezes. Water vapor crystallizes before it even reaches the ground, falling as millions of tiny ice needles that shimmer in the darkness. Scientists call it diamond dust. And if the cold alone wasn't enough, the wind here is something else entirely. Storms pour down from the Antarctic plateau with such force that they've been recorded at over 300 kilometers per hour. Not a breeze, not a storm. A force of nature that moves like a living thing and hits like a wall. And yet, people choose to come here. Scientists, researchers, people so driven by curiosity that no amount of cold or darkness or isolation could keep them away. In summer, around 5,000 of them are out here right now, working, discovering, pushing the limits of what we know about this planet. And here's something that will genuinely surprise you. Antarctica, this frozen, wind-battered, ice-covered continent, is technically a desert. Less rain falls here each year than in the middle of the Sahara. The driest place on Earth, the coldest place on Earth, the windiest place on Earth, all in one. But underneath all of this, underneath the ice, the storms, the silence, something is burning. Beneath your feet, if you were standing here, there are volcanoes. Not ancient ones, not extinct ones. Active volcanoes, burning right now, buried under kilometers of solid ice. Scientists have identified over 130 of them hidden beneath the Antarctic ice sheet. And one of them, Mount Erebus, has been erupting almost continuously for as long as we've been watching it. Its crater holds one of the only permanent lava lakes on Earth, a pool of molten rock glowing in the dark at the bottom of the world. But the fire doesn't stop there. That heat from below, melting the ice from underneath, has created something that nobody expected to find down here. Water. Liquid water. Trapped beneath kilometers of ice, in complete darkness, for millions of years. In 2025 alone, scientists discovered 85 brand new lakes hidden under the Antarctic ice sheet. 85 lakes that nobody knew existed, found in a single year. Some of them deep enough to swallow a skyscraper whole. And the largest of them all, Lake Vostok, holds enough fresh water to overflow the Grand Canyon. Sealed under nearly 4 kilometers of ice. Untouched. Silent. For longer than modern humans have existed. But of all the secrets hiding beneath this ice, nothing prepared scientists for what they found at the Taylor Glacier. Something was bleeding out of the ice. From above, it cuts through the white like an open wound. Up close, it flows like a waterfall. It moves like a river. And it looks exactly like blood. This is Blood Falls, and the truth behind it is almost stranger than the horror. Those scientists right there, they came from across the world just to stand in front of this and try to make sense of it. And what they found beneath the ice changed everything. But even in a place that feels untouched, Antarctica still holds mysteries. One of the strangest of them all is something known as blood falls. At first glance, it looks like a waterfall of blood flowing out of the ice. But this is not blood. This phenomenon begins far beneath the glacier. Deep below the surface, there is a reservoir of extremely salty water trapped for millions of years. In complete darkness, without oxygen, and under intense pressure, this environment is one of the most extreme on Earth. Slowly, this ancient water moves through tiny cracks in the ice until it finally reaches the surface. And that's where something unusual happens. The water is rich in iron, and when it comes into contact with the air, it begins to oxidize. This reaction creates the deep red color you see, giving the illusion of a frozen waterfall of blood. And even here, in total darkness, microorganisms are able to survive, completely isolated beneath the ice. Could the same thing be happening somewhere else in our solar system? Maybe. And Antarctica, right here, is where we're looking for the answer. After everything you've just seen, the storms, the cold, the darkness beneath the ice, you'd be forgiven for thinking nothing could possibly survive here. And then, you see them. Millions of them. Completely unbothered by any of it. Penguins have been living in Antarctica for over 60 million years. Long before humans ever walked this earth, they were already here. Thriving, adapting, making this impossible place feel like home. And the way they do it is genuinely remarkable. Their feathers are so densely packed, so perfectly engineered, that their bodies stay warm even when the temperature outside drops below -40. But their feet? Their feet are cold by design. Kept just above freezing, not warm enough to melt the ice, not cold enough to freeze solid. Nature's own thermostat. 2 million years in the making. And during the harshest winter, when temperatures become almost unsurvivable, the male emperor penguin does something extraordinary. He stays. While the female leaves to hunt at sea, he stands alone on the ice for up to 9 weeks, in complete darkness, in brutal cold, balancing a single egg on his feet, keeping it alive with nothing but the warmth of his own body. But penguins aren't the only ones who figured this place out. Meet the Weddell seal, the southernmost mammal on the planet. This animal lives further south than any other warm-blooded creature, breathing through holes it carves in the ice with its own teeth. And that face, that permanently calm, almost smiling face, hides one of the most sophisticated survival systems in the animal kingdom. Weddell seals can dive over 600 meters deep, holding their breath for over 80 minutes. In water so cold it would kill a human in under 2 minutes. And out here, in these same icy waters, whales move like shadows beneath the surface. This is one of the most biodiverse marine environments on the entire planet. Hidden at the bottom of the world, invisible to almost everyone, and more alive than most places you've ever been. If you're watching this and thinking, "I had no idea Antarctica looked like this," drop a comment below and tell us, which animal surprised you most? We read every single one. And if you want to keep traveling with us, make sure you're subscribed, because where we're going next, you won't believe this place ever existed. What if I told you that everything you just watched, the ice, the storms, the frozen silence, wasn't always there? 52 million years ago, Antarctica was warm. Not slightly warmer, not a few degrees above zero. Warm enough for rainforests. Warm enough for palm trees. Warm enough for animals we'd recognize today, walking through dense jungle. Right here, at the bottom of the world. Scientists have pulled fossils from the rocks near the continent's edges. Dinosaur bones, ancient tree roots, prehistoric pollen, all buried beneath what is now kilometers of ice. One of the most striking discoveries was a creature called Cryolophosaurus, a 25-foot predator with a distinctive bony crest running across its skull, roaming through Antarctic forests 190 million years ago. A dinosaur in Antarctica, where today the air itself can freeze, and the ice itself remembers all of it. Trapped inside the Antarctic ice sheet, in tiny bubbles of ancient air, is a record of our planet's atmosphere stretching back 800,000 years. Every storm, every volcanic eruption, every shift in temperature this planet has ever experienced. Recorded, preserved, waiting to be read. Scientists drill down through these layers of ice and travel back through time. Each meter deeper, another 1,000 years of history. It's the closest thing we have to a time machine. And what the ice is telling us right now is something we need to pay very close attention to. So here's the question everyone asks. Can you actually go there? And the answer is yes. But getting to Antarctica is unlike getting anywhere else on this planet. It starts here. Ushuaia, a small city at the very tip of Argentina, the southernmost city on Earth, the last piece of civilization before the world runs out. This is where most expeditions begin, where the ships load up, where travelers from every corner of the world arrive, all chasing the same dream. From Ushuaia, the journey south takes you across the Drake Passage, 600 miles of open ocean, no land in sight, where the Atlantic, the Pacific, and the Southern Ocean all collide at once. Some crossings are calm, some are absolutely brutal, but every single person who makes it through says it was worth it. And then, after 2 days at sea, you see it. Your first iceberg. And nothing, absolutely nothing, prepares you for that moment. From the ship, you board small inflatable boats called zodiacs, and you get close. Close enough to hear the ice cracking. Close enough to feel the cold radiating off it. Close enough to touch something that formed before your grandparents were born. Some travelers kayak through iceberg channels. Some hike across the frozen landscape. Some simply stand there in complete silence and let it all sink in. Now, you might be wondering about the cost. And honestly, Antarctica is one of those rare destinations where the range is enormous. Budget expeditions start from around $5,000. A basic berth on a ship, crossing the Drake, landing on the ice, seeing it all with your own eyes. But if you want the full experience, private cabins, helicopter transfers, gourmet meals with icebergs as your view, you're looking at closer to $100,000. Either way, everyone who goes says the same thing. It changes you. And here's where we want to hear from you, because this is the question we get asked more than any other. Would you go to Antarctica if you had the chance? Budget trip or luxury expedition, it doesn't matter. Would you do it? Drop your answer in the comments right now. We genuinely want to know. Because the people who come here, they don't come for the comfort. They don't come for the weather. They don't even come for the bragging rights. They come because somewhere deep down, they need to know what it feels like to stand at the edge of the world and look out at absolutely nothing but ice and sky. Everything you've seen in this video, the ice, the wildlife, the hidden worlds beneath, is disappearing. In the last 25 years, Antarctica has lost 3 trillion tons of ice. 3 trillion. And if the ice sheets of West Antarctica collapsed completely, sea levels around the world would rise by over 3 meters. Coastal cities, London, New York, Shanghai, permanently underwater. In March 2022, Antarctica experienced the most intense heat wave ever recorded anywhere on Earth. Temperatures rose 40 degrees above normal. In a single event, the Conger ice shelf, an area the size of Rome, collapsed in less than a week. But here's what most people don't realize. What happens in Antarctica doesn't stay in Antarctica. The ocean currents that regulate temperature across the entire planet start right here. This is not just a remote travel destination. This is the engine that keeps our world the way we know it. There are places on this earth that don't need a filter. No edit, no caption, no hashtag. Places that are exactly what they are, and that's enough. Antarctica is one of them. It doesn't care if you visit. It doesn't care if you don't. It was here long before us, and if we're not careful, it will outlast us too. But for those who do make it, who cross the Drake, who step onto the ice, who stand in that silence and look out at a horizon with nothing on it, something shifts. Every single person who has ever been here describes the same feeling. a kind of stillness you can't find anywhere else. Like the rest of the world just stopped, and for a moment, so did you. Antarctica is the only continent with no permanent residents, no government, no borders. It belongs to no one, and because of that, it belongs to all of us. So take care of it. If this journey took you somewhere you didn't expect, share it with someone who needs to see this. And if you want to keep exploring the most extraordinary places on this planet, we'll see you in the next one.